Oh, all I want to know. All I want to know. All I want. With just a touch of my burning hand, send my Astro-Zombies to raid the land. Prime directive, exterminate the whole human race in your face. Drops in a pot. Oh, fuck, I fucked up the lyrics. Oh well. That is Astro-Zombies by the Misfits, a song that misled me into thinking that I might get anything of value from this movie. There were no melting faces.
You know the origin story.
Of the movie?
Of the song.
Well, I know that the Misfits is like a horror punk band, and a lot of their like songs are just based around horror movies, and so they probably were just like, yes, the Astro-Zombies. Let's just make a song that's a million times better than the movie and lyrically has nothing to do with anything going on in the movie.
Yeah.
Because that's all just about, like, melting faces and just, like, wanting to know.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Astro-Zombies, the movie. Not that. But
not that.
We'll get into Astro-Zombies.
Welcome to episode 109?
Is it 109?
I think so.
Oh. It's 100 and something.
107.
Oh.
There's 2 off.
Couple episodes ahead.
I'm just so excited for 109. It's going to be the big one.
Okay.
It's the big one. Yeah, welcome to 107, Screen Weens, where we watch the Astro-Zombies, and we watch Night of the Comet. Mm-hmm. I just finished Night of the Comet like 5 minutes ago.
I finished it like an hour ago. So.
Classic. I watched the Astro-Zombies like 2 days ago.
I watched the first half hour of it like the first day, and I was like, I'll remember this. And then I just picked it up where I left off last night. So yeah, Astro-Zombies.
Did you do anything else this week?
I did. Not media-wise, but I started skateboarding a little bit.
I saw on the Screen Weens TikTok.
Yes.
You were like,
yes. That was a recreation of an Instagram message I had sent, and then I was like, I couldn't figure out how to save it afterwards, and I was like, oh no, and then I tried to do it again. I don't think the second one that's on TikTok turned out as well, but oh well. But yeah, so I've been doing that, and yeah, I watched a little bit of One Piece Act 2, not a whole lot of it, but a little bit of it. And yeah, then I watched these movies.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I watched Age of Ultron. Bad movie.
I agree.
Terrible
I hate
movie.
Age of Ultron. I remember
it being not too harsh on it, like memory-wise. I'm like, I remember being fine. It's real bad.
Yeah, there's like, the fun part is like the party scene, and then the rest of the movie is just like, I just don't like any
I hate
of this.
you. I hate this.
Yeah, it's just like, damn. Yeah. That's why I was like,
And then I rewatched Ant-Man. It's fun. It's fine. Obviously, like, Edgar Wright's would have been better, but it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. Paul Rudd's great. Paul Rudd's like a great Scott Lang.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And then I watched The Suicide Squad.
Oh, the new one?
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay.
I really loved it. I had a blast with it. It's very, very fun.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, I had a ton of fun with it. I was like, yeah.
We're probably going to get... Well, I don't know if we're probably going to get... It might take a couple years of campaigning, but I feel like the wheels have been set in motion for the...
The Ayer cut?
Yeah.
We'll see. Ugh.
I mean... I'm not going to say I think it'd be good or whatever, because I don't know. But maybe they did, because, I mean, my biggest problem with the film was probably the editing. I was just like, this doesn't feel like a movie.
They're like, what if we just hire the trailer company that made the trailer to re-edit the movie? It's a great idea.
Yeah. But I'm sure, like, a lot of issues I have with it would probably still stand.
Because, I mean, like, the Joker's still in it.
Yeah.
Enchantress still, like, the main plot points are the same, right? Yeah. So I'm just like...
It might be more interesting to see the ideas more fleshed out, but I don't know. It's probably going to be like a Snyder Cut situation where it's like, yeah, it's better than the original cut.
But it's still awful.
Yeah, it's still not great.
I also rewatched Daybreakers, which I watched like 2 years ago. That Ethan Hawke vampire movie. That movie's really dumb, but I really enjoy it. It's like, it goes fully into its dumbness. It knows, like, it's dumb. Mm-hmm. There's a vampire army that's just called the Vampire Army. It's just...
yeah.
There's just a lot of really dumb stuff, but it's fun. And Ethan Hawke and Willem Dafoe are both great in it. So. And I watched Chronicle for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
Forgetting that Max Landis co-wrote it, because I probably wouldn't have wanted to watch it if I remember that.
Yeah.
It was good. Like, it was fine. The third act's not great.
Speaking of Max Landis, he crossed my mind when I was watching Night of the Comet, because he looks like the mall zombie guy.
Yeah. Willie or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember liking Chronicle when I saw it.
It has moments. Michael B. Jordan's really good in it.
Oh, I forgot he was in it.
Yeah. Michael B. Jordan's, like, really good, though.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
I liked the lead guy in it too.
Dane DeHaan.
Yeah.
Dane DeHaan's good.
It was a promising start to his career, and then the only thing I've seen him in like since then cognitively is
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I know he was in that like
Valerian in the City of a Thousand Planets. Yeah, that one's terrible.
Yeah.
I don't think he was even bad in those. Well, he was bad in Valerian. Because everyone was bad in that. But Amazing Spider-Man 2, like, he's trying.
Yeah, the source material is a little fucked in that, but
it feels like he just keeps picking really garbage projects to be in.
I agree.
But, I've heard okay things about A Cure for Wellness. I don't know if you ever watched that one. No.
I saw the trailer for it.
Yeah, I've been trying to give him more of a shot. And then last night we watched One Missed Call, but the American remake of it.
Yeah, that's the one I've seen. I watched it when I was a kid.
We were scrolling through Shudder, and I'm like, you guys want to watch this Takashi Miike horror movie? Because I've heard, like, the original One Missed Call is, like, fun enough. Like, it's a ripoff of, like, Ringu, but it's whatever. It's haunted for cell phone. I'm like, that's fun. And Pierre's like, can we watch the dub? And I'm like, no, we cannot watch the dub. But if you want to, we can watch the American remake, even though I knew it was going to be garbage. And I think I'd seen, like, bits of it on TV before. Yeah, we watched it. It's just fucking terrible.
Yeah, it's like...
And it's really boring.
It's like, I missed a call and I looked over and that lady has 4 eyes over there. It's just like, that's all I remember.
The first time that happened, I was like, that's fun. But then they just kept doing it for no reason. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. It's an insane concept for a horror movie. But... You know.
And then I've been playing Nier Automata. I'm so tired of men making things that are, like, good and have, like, good stories and then just, like, horribly objectifying their women.
Yeah, I feel it.
It's like, I'm like, the main character's an android. She has really high-heeled boots on, and her panties are always in shot because there's a giant slit in her dress. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's so annoying. Like, I get annoyed at Oda for some of his depictions of women, but it's not as bad as like this. But it's just like, God, why?
And although I will say, in the most recent chapter, there was a couple points where I wanted to roll my eyes, but it honestly looked so fucking cool. I was just like, damn.
Damn, Nami's panties?
No, it was the Robin thing. Did you read the newest chapter?
I don't think I did.
You'll see what I mean when you read the newest chapter. But they do a good job at making it less feel like I mean, obviously, it's clearly fan service, but it kind of has like almost like an angelic kind of feel to it. So I feel like it kind of levels it out in that regard.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
And yeah, that's what but I just hit ending A of the game. You play through it like many times, apparently. The game's good. I've been enjoying it, but it's just like, that's so obnoxious, especially because there are literally just clone, because they're just androids, so there's ones that look exactly like her, but they're not super objectifying.
Yeah.
It's just annoying.
I feel it. It's like, at least if you're gonna do that thing, like, do it for the men too.
Yeah. And I mean, like, the main boy, the guy, he's like, wears these, like, short shorts. I'm like, yeah, but more so. I need some more.
Yeah, right.
There was some of the main, like, villains in it are, like, these shirtless guys. I'm like, okay, see, this is okay. If everything was like this, I'd be like, okay, fine, whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's what I've done this week.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to read, but I had a rough week. We canceled our trip, and I've just it's almost my birthday, and I don't like my birthday. I have traumatic memories from birthdays, so I'm just like, man, this week's been shitty. So I've mostly just been laying in bed.
Yeah.
But I'm back on it again, because the Astro-Zombies, which is what we're talking about right now, Astro-Zombies, is the best movie ever made. It's got astronauts, it's got zombies, it's got women, it's got men, it's got intrigue, it's got science, it's got swag.
It's got John Carradine.
It's got, John Carradine. And I looked, I'm like, why was he in this? And I'm like, wait a minute, he was in like 300 movies.
Yeah, a lot of the Universal actors, like, towards the later part of their lives, were in just a lot of, like, random shit.
Apparently John Carradine did a thing a lot where he would just be on, like, he would do just one-day shoots. Mm-hmm. Where they would just, like, film all of his scenes in one day real quick.
Yeah, Bela Lugosi was, like, similar. Like, Bela Lugosi had the whole, like, Ed Wood relationship. Boris Karloff went and made a bunch of, like, shit for years. And he made one really good last movie, I hear, with Targets. I haven't seen it, but a lot.
I've heard Targets is amazing.
Yeah. And then, what's it called? Like, Lon Chaney Jr. was in, like, just, like, a bunch of shit before he died. Like, I think his last film was, like, a Dracula versus Frankenstein movie that wasn't licensed, and it was just, like, really not good, and he just played like a raving madman. But yeah, Astro-Zombies.
I'm gonna be honest, I do not remember a single moment of this film, except that I was excruciatingly in pain watching.
So the basic premise is that, so it's like the CIA used to have John Carradine work for them.
For, like, their secret space program.
And they were, like, experimenting on ways of, like, basically how to, like, fuck with brainwaves and create, like, zombies through, like, mind control.
Like, zombie soldier kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then they fired him, so he's like, I'm still gonna do it.
Mm-hmm. So he becomes a mad scientist, and there's been a string of gruesome killings recently, and they're like, we think he's behind this. Simultaneously, while the CIA is investigating John Carradine, there is a third party that is some, like, gangster woman. She just loves killing people. She's like, I fucking love killing people. I hate subordinates who question me. And I want the Astro-Zombies. Yeah, she's clearly, like, the most interesting part of the movie.
That actress, I didn't know a lot about her, but apparently she has, like, a huge cult following. She was only in, like, 13 movies, but she was, like, what was there's one, like, really well-known, like, exploitation-esque movie she's in. What is it called? Faster Pussycat Kill Kill, if you've heard of that one.
I haven't.
No. Yeah, it's by this guy named Russ Meyer. He's the one that also did Beyond the Valley of the Dolls.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've heard of that one. That's pretty interesting. But yeah, she's definitely the best part of this movie. It basically just, like, comes down to, they have, like, his old assistant, and they're like, he wants to kill you. The Astro-Zombies are probably going to come try to kill you. Here, I'm going to take you to your apartment. Oh, all the lights are off in your apartment, and only your apartment, and we're going to acknowledge this. Let me just go fuck with the breaker and leave you here alone. I love it. So stupid. But yeah, then the Astro-Zombie attacks her, and, you know, CIA guy comes out, rips out its, like, power source or whatever, So it puts a flashlight up to its head. They even say it's like, it was a device that looked like a flashlight. It's like, no, it was a fucking flashlight, dog. Like, what the fuck? So he's got this flashlight on his head, and he's fucking running. And then, yeah, he goes back to John Carradine, who at this point has been, the location's been discovered by the gangster woman, and she's like, I'm taking over this whole operation. And then the CIA shows up. John Carradine dies because he's like, no, I can't let you. So she shoots him. And then right before he dies, he sends an Astro-Zombie to kill her, and it pushes her into an electric box. And then all the Astro-Zombies and bad guys are all dead. And the CIA is just like, ah, ha, 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 ha.
It's like, we didn't even need to do anything. They literally say something like that. Like, wow, he didn't get very far with this.
Yep. And that's Astro-Zombies. It is not a good movie. There are many scenes that are just nothing going on. It's just like, oh yeah, John Carradine in a lab, and we're gonna have 6 minutes of him fucking moving tubes from a box to a...
Yeah, it's just like...
It's like, look at like the old Frankenstein. It's so quick and like simple, and it's like the lab in that is like good, and it's effective, and it's...
And this movie, which came out like 30 years later, is just like, what if we... okay, guys, I'm going to be honest, I don't actually have a script for this, so I'm going to go write it in the back. Can you just, like, film a bunch of E-roll of them, like, just moving stuff around, and I'll cut it down, and then he just didn't cut it down.
It feels... I made a film when I was... A zombie film when I was 12, and it was, like, 6 pages.
Do you have this still?
I might have it on DVD somewhere, but it's not good.
We gotta upload it to Screenwing. We gotta...
But, it's a fucking, what's it called? I wrote, like, 6 pages. I'm like, this is gonna, like, fill, like, 30 minutes. And then it didn't. And I was like, oh, no. The only difference is I didn't try to pad it out. But it seems like these people padded it out. And there are films where that works. Like, Eraserhead's script is, like, 30 pages.
Yeah, but David Lynch knows how to make an interesting atmosphere. Yeah. This doesn't have an interesting atmosphere. It's just like, oh, this looks like an abandoned building they found to record something in real quick, not a lab.
Yeah, no, a lot of it's just like, ugh. It's either like super ultra bright and poppy, kind of like, it looks like they almost shot it on the same type of camera that like they shot like Dawn of the Dead, or the film. Because it's got like that light kind of candy feel, but there's lots of scenes where they're just like in a dark room and it just looks awful. It's like a scene where they like show the corner of like her apartments and it's just like you can barely fucking see it because they clearly didn't like mess with the right settings on the camera first.
Yeah, just like, fuck it.
Yeah. Let's go with it.
They probably didn't have enough budget to like do any retakes, so they're just like, well, it's fine.
Yeah.
We'll fix it in post.
All right. So yeah, Astro-Zombies.
It's got
a Misfits song named after it.
Yeah, that's the only thing it has going for it, like legitimately.
The Astro-Zombies are kind of funny looking.
Yeah, they remind me of like I mean that guy, but also like regular like henchmen in Power Rangers.
Fair.
Also, this guy.
Yes, if his head was more round.
We should watch Beastars.
I don't want to.
We're gonna watch Beastars.
I think you would hate that more than I would.
Beastars. Yeah, I put up with a lot. If it makes you have to watch it too.
Fair.
It's the only way I got through that Family Guy stuff. I'm like, Thomas has to watch these too.
See, meanwhile, I'm just on the other end completely suffering. It's like, oh God. I'm not even thinking about like, I'm not like, London has to watch this. I'm just like, oh God, I don't want to watch this. But, yeah, fucking Astro-Zombies. There's really not a lot to say about this movie. It's just boring. Boring 60s borderline exploitation movie. It's a lot more extreme than a lot more movies than you would see coming out than like within that time period in the mainstream.
Yeah.
But it's not.
I was hoping that I would have gotten some enjoyment out of this one, just because, like, I'm like, okay, like, space-related, like, sci-fi from the 60s, like, I'm not super exposed to it, but, like, low-budget stuff, like, we watched Creation of the Humanoids on, like, our fucking 4th episode or whatever.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that. Like, I wasn't completely bored with it. Like, it had some interesting ideas and some fun sets, but this is just, like, it's just terrible.
Yeah, it really.
And there's like no music in it most of the time. It's just like stock sounds of like tubes.
All right, someone points a gun at you and forces you to pick one that you have to watch. Are you going to watch this or the Trooper?
Honestly, probably the Trooper.
Right?
Because the Trooper like has that guy who like doesn't have a shirt on at that one point. He's like, "Hey, how's it going?"
And the Trooper, like,
also it's fun. Like,
empty as it is, it's got some decent stuff in there.
Plus, it's got that sick ass rodeo scene.
It does, and that has some like music in it that I found to be genuinely kind of good. That isn't anywhere else. And it's like,
I fucking hated the Trooper, but while I was watching it, I like in my mind, I'm like, I'm watching the Trooper. But in my mind, when I was watching this, I'm like, oh,
I don't remember what my like podcast reaction was, but I don't think I hated the Trooper.
You didn't hate it, but I think you still gave it either a 1 or a 2.
Yeah, because it was a 1 or a 2. I'm honest.
But this one, yeah, it's up there on one of the worst things I've watched on a podcast, probably. Yeah,
dude, because I was just like, I've been jamming out to Astro-Zombies last week, and I was like, dude, I need to pick like some space zombie movies. And then I would, picked Night of the Comet because that was like the first one that popped in my mind. I'm like looking for other space zombie movies, but a lot of them are like space vampire movies. And
Dracula 3000.
Yeah, and then I was like, wait, there's a movie that the fucking song I'm picking this whole podcast is based off of for, so I had to pick it, and I completely fucking regret it. But yeah.
You're gonna give us 1 a 1.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sure if you could, you'd give it a 0, but you're gonna give it a 1.
Give it 10. I actually loved it. It was a secret joke. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 1.
Yeah.
But Night of the Comet is better. I'll say that much.
Yeah, Night of the Comet. I don't particularly know how I feel about it, just because I watched it right after Astro-Zombies, and I feel like that tampered with.
Wow, it's a masterpiece.
Comparatively,
it's got characters.
This movie is probably the most genuine 80s movie I think I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah, I really like the spirit of this movie. Like, I will say it. I overall enjoyed the movie, but I didn't love it. But I really like the spirit and the energy around the movie.
Yeah, this is one that I like really liked when I was 12, and I haven't watched it since. And I was still glad to come back and still like it.
Yeah.
There are bits of it that are kind of like,
Do you mean the part where she's talking to her sister and she's just like, so, and then she just starts casually dropping the F slur? You think he's a? That's it. When they're in the shopping center, she's like, what if he's gay? Like, what if he's a?
I completely missed that part.
That would be just our luck.
I was not. I must have been like looking somewhere else when that part popped up.
No, that happens. I was just like, what?
Yeah, damn.
Like,
oh well.
That would just be our luck if he's gay. If he's a.
Yeah, with some 80s movies, you just kind of got to cut around those parts.
It's like, why?
There needs to be, like, the PC editor who comes around and, like, edits all these great 80s movies that uses just all these terrible slurs just in, like, 1 or 2 scenes, and you're just like...
And people would be like, oh, that's canceled. And I'm like, no, it's just, like, ruins the pacing of these movies. It makes no sense. Like,
yeah, it's just, like, it's real jarring, especially by, like, today's standards, because it's just, like, whenever I hear that word, it's like a brick hits me in the side of the head because it catches me off guard. I'm just like, wait, what? God damn it. And then I'm like kind of pissy for a minute while I'm trying to enjoy this movie that I had maybe been enjoying up until that point. But I mean, yeah.
But Robert Beltran is that guy.
Robert Beltran?
Yeah, he's the guy who plays, whatever his name is in this. The main guy character.
Yeah.
He plays Chakotay in Star Trek Voyager, though.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
I haven't seen Voyager.
Yeah. Voyager is like the Star Trek I grew up watching. This was that and then Deep Space Nine and some Next Generation. Mm-hmm. But I've seen like all of Voyager probably a couple of times. But he came on screen. I'm like, oh, where? I'm like, I'm placing this face. And this was like 10 years before Voyager, so he's substantially younger. I'm like, where is he from? And I'm like, no way. I'm like, it's Chakotay!
Huh. Well, that's cool. I look forward to seeing him in that, because I love Star Trek, and I plan on watching all of it soon. It's just like, every year I watch like a handful of seasons. I'm like, all right, I need to take a break.
No, I get that. Star Trek's kind of...
It's a very repetitive show.
Yeah.
Very episodic, so it's like I binge a lot of it, and then I'm like, all right, I've had my fill for now. But, yeah, this movie, it opens with an 80s monologue that's like, it's just after Christmas, and they're about to get an extra Christmas present. There's a comet that is supposed to be, the biggest impact since the dinosaurs. And it's just like, okay, that's kind of corny. And it's like, a select few have locked themselves away, but most people haven't. And then it just, puts you down in a carnival.
And they're like, whoa, the comet's coming!
Woo! And basically, I don't remember any of the main characters' names. I didn't take notes of any of them.
Kelly. No, Regina. Regina's the main character.
Okay, so there's Regina and her sister. Samantha. And then...
And what is Chakotay's name in this?
Hector.
Hector Gomez. I'm like, yeah.
Okay. Hector, Sarah, and Regina? Okay.
Yeah.
So Regina works at a movie theater.
Yeah.
So relatable.
So relatable. We've done that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's addicted to playing the little arcade game they've got.
She's a gamer.
Mm-hmm.
She's a woman. She's a gamer. What more could you like in the 80s?
Right. So
she got big hair.
That too. So she basically spends the night in the
projection booth. With Wilson?
Yeah, with a friend that she's having a fling with.
Yeah.
And then her sister basically got into a fist fight with her stepmother.
Yeah.
Doris. Not really a fist fight. Her mother punched.
Slap fight.
Her stepmother punched her. And so she fucking ran and slept in a garden shed or something like that. And yeah, then the next morning after the comet hits, everybody goes outside and it's like, ooh, the comet. And then they all fucking turn to dust. Except for some of them that don't turn to dust.
Well, it's right when the comet hits at midnight or whatever. Mm-hmm. Everyone just kind of turns to dust. But if they're guarded by steel, they're fine. And then there are some people that were indoors or under a steel thing that only got partially affected, and they start turning into Astro-Zombies pretty much.
Yep. So basically, meanwhile, all this is going on. There's a underground lab that has been prepping for this, but they fucked up and they left the ventilation vents open. And so now they're looking for healthy survivors to basically siphon the blood out of and try to stop the Astro-Zombie.
We don't know this at first. First, it just shows them and they're like, we gotta find the survivors. And this lady's like, no, we shouldn't. And we're like, oh, this lady's the bitch. But really, she was the one trying to save them.
Yeah.
And I thought that was actually a decent...
Yeah, I think it's pretty well done. I like the scene where they actually reveal it, where it's because she's talking, we shouldn't bring survivors in here. And then they're like, well, here's the surface. The majority rule says you go up to the surface and you draw blood from them. So she's like, all right. And then she sees that there's a couple kids and she goes over them, starts screaming at one of her, not subordinates, but, peers. Mm-hmm. And that's when, you're kind of putting it together. You're like, oh, clearly she's got some ethical issue with what's going on here. And yeah, it turns out to be that. So, basically, the sisters go to a radio station. They're
like hearing this guy, and they're like, "Oh, the radio DJ's alive at least." Yeah. But no, it's just a recording.
But they meet Hector there. He points a gun at them, and Hector is funny because he's like the most stereotypical like 80s male protagonist. Like he's just like a total fucking asshole. It's like, "Hey, get into the light," and then like. I just, like, instantly, she goes to the bathroom, he goes over, he's like, "Hey, I think we're gonna need to get along. I'm sorry, we started on the wrong foot." She, like, comes into his room.
You pointed a gun at me.
She comes into his room at one point, and he's just fucking doing, like, fucking curls, and it's just, like, he's such a Chad. But it was kind of funny. Yeah. Just because it was so, like, unironic in their presentation of it. But yeah, so basically... they meet Hector, and he's like, "I gotta go to San Diego, because that's where my family is, and I just gotta know. I know they're probably dead, but I gotta, for certain." So he goes there, and some kid attacks him. He's like, "Ah, fuck, I gotta get the fuck out of here."
You're lucky I like kids!
He jumps out a window and runs away.
Meanwhile, Samantha and Regina are shopping.
Yeah, they go to the mall.
And the mall is taken over by the Stock Boys.
I feel like this movie unintentionally has some, like, kind of weird politics, because it's like, the workers take the business into their hands, and it's kind of portrayed...
I actually don't even think it's, like, on accident, because later on it's like, the scientists are walking around, one of them is like, "Oh, this whole area is just a monument to consumerism."
Oh, yeah. And then, the scientists are, like, the bad guys.
Yeah. But yeah, they go, and the Stock Boys now run it, and they're like, "You're stealing from us." And they capture Samantha, and they're like, "Come out, Regina," and Regina has a hostage, and then he just shoots his friend instead, Willie or whatever, and he's just like...
the best line of the movie.
Yeah.
She's like, "You're crazy!"
He's like, "I'm not crazy, I just don't give a shit!"
You fuck.
We don't swear on the podcast.
That's you just said shit.
Fuck, you're right.
But yeah, so... Yeah, they get captured by the mall zombies, but the fucking scientists come up, because they had been, like, fucking keeping tabs on them, because they heard them on the radio, and they're like, "We're gonna come get you, we're gonna come save you." And then they split the sisters up, because Sarah has, like, a rash.
And they're convinced, "Oh, she's infected, so we don't want her blood." Yeah. But really, she just gets rashes.
Yeah. So they leave her behind, and then, like, the good scientist is with her, like, knocks her out with some...
Yeah. Pretends to kill her.
Yeah, and then kills the other scientist.
Yeah.
And basically leaves, like, a notepad with, like, an explanation of everything that's going on for Hector, because she knows he's coming, and she's... got, like, memory degradation.
Because she's infected, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then he shows up in a Santa Claus costume.
Yeah, I love that.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
I guess
Hector, like, went to his house, saw that all of the people that he's ever loved are dead, and he's like, "Well, I better go get dressed up as Santa Claus real quick."
Right. So, yeah, he does that, and then he's like, "Oh, well, that didn't... Well, okay, I guess I better dress up as a cowboy now."
Yeah, so we can sneak into the plant. You're like, "Hey, howdy! Oh, I came from L.A.
Hey, security guard with a Uzi, come
you
over
like girls?
here.
Come here.
Come, I'm gonna pop open my trunk for you."
And it's like, "That girl's dead." She's like, "Nope, she was just filled with sodium pentothymate," or some shit.
Yeah, and then she jumps up and grabs him and knocks her out.
Yeah.
Or knocks him out. And, so then they break in. Simultaneously, while this is going on, Regina has figured out, like, they tell her that her sister's dead, and she's within the building. And so she fucking, like, hits a guy in the head with a keyboard and fucking runs. Gets loose. And then
gets caught again. And then gets loose again.
Yeah. And she saves a couple kids,
and they fucking put the brain dead juice on those people.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, fuck yeah. Because I thought they were just going to leave them, and then they show them, and they're just like, "Going to Santa." Because they were saying that, why is there so much Santa in this? It's right before Christmas, or is it right after? It's right around Christmas.
I think it's right after Christmas, because it says an extra Christmas present. So I don't know. Maybe it could be either. I guess, but yeah, they talk about Christmas a lot in this movie because it's like happening.
Because it's a Christmas movie,
right? Yeah. So basically, they save these. Oh, they tell the kids that like, oh, just breathe this gas and you'll go and you'll live with Santa in the North Pole forever.
And he's like, Santa's not real.
Yeah,
that's what the kid sounds like.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, they
but they escape and they blow up the place.
Yeah, they like
Hector's just been like
wild
planting
hogs all
bombs.
the fucking cars. And yeah, so they all die.
They all die, and then they live happily. Hector and Regina get married, and they pretty much are raising these children now.
Yeah, they've got.
And they're like, we have to be the pinnacles of civilization now.
Yeah, they use crosswalks, even though
like we have to. Or what are we other than animals?
and like Sarah's just like, what the fuck? Are you, like,
yeah, Samantha just starts walking. Without the car. She's like, look, there's no car. And then his car speeds up. And he's like, whoa, you
should have, like, not walked when the light was red. And she's just like, thank you, God. Because the whole movie she's been thirsting.
Yeah. She's like, I want to get with Hector. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure Hector's an adult. Little lady.
The world's over. She doesn't care.
The world's over.
But, yeah. So then, yeah, she gets it with this guy. And it turns out, we look at his license plate. He's the video game guy who beat Regina's 6th record.
I didn't see that.
Ah. Yes, that's what that is. A nice little...
I got the homophobic slur. You got the nice little...
the nice bow that tied the whole movie together.
Yeah, I've like I'd been like 40 minutes in. I'm like, what, are they ever going to do anything with that? Or, and then apparently they did.
Yes.
So, yeah. And then the movie ends with them being the last remnants of humanity. Obviously, there are other survivors. It's like
probably, yeah.
Some old good security guard at a bank is probably going to wander.
It's just like, man, it's been real slow today.
Man, where's my cup of coffee? But yeah, I think this movie's pretty fun.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that it still held up decently. If I had one major critique of this movie, not enough zombies.
There's like
we see
4, I guess.
There's the mall zombies. There's the like alleyway zombie that we see in the very beginning. The child zombie, and then there's the 2 dream cop zombies, and that's it. So there's a total of 5 zombies in this movie.
I also think this movie just feels extremely disconnected from itself at like every fucking scene.
It's very...
They're all fun scenes, but like as a cohesive piece, it's all over the place.
I also wish there was the perfect setup for like their stepmother to like go from not being outside. Like she could have like gone over to the neighbor because she's like sleeping with their neighbor while their dad's away. Mm-hmm. He's fighting some war. I forget where they said where.
Space.
But, yeah, wherever it is, I'm sure it's fucked up. So he's fucking... Like, they could have, like, had it so they were inside, like, boning when the fucking meteor came down and dusted everyone, and they turned into zombies because they weren't behind steel. And then that could have led to, like, a gratifying scene where they have to kill their evil stepmother, but it didn't go with that.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have been too hardcore for the 80s.
I also don't feel like characters really care that everyone's dead. Regina does at the very beginning, but then they just kind of drop it really fast.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't really show Hector having any emotion when he goes and finds yes, his family is indeed dead and stuff. Yeah, some like tonal things, not necessarily for the movie's tone, but just for characters, like tones and attitudes are a little off, but yeah, and the pacing's weird just because everything feels so disconnected. But, like, it's an enjoyable movie. It's fun.
Yeah, no, this is, like, the definition of just, like, a popcorn, entertaining 80s movie.
Yeah.
It's got the hair.
It's got the hair.
Nothing makes any fucking sense, but it doesn't need to.
It's got the evil scientists.
Yeah.
It's got the motorcycles. Mm-hmm. It's got the shopping scene.
It's got guns.
They need the shopping scene in an 80s movie. It's got explosions. Yeah.
Zombies.
It's got it all. It's like what we were promised in Astro-Zombies. Or like reading the description is like, CIA agents, Astro-Zombies, women?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, this movie, It's fun.
It's a fun time.
There's a while. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but who knows with the trend of like sequels. But I know that the stars of this movie were trying to get like a sequel made for
that. Actually, like that would be an interesting like idea, just like to see what the population looks like in the future. Like it would be a much different movie, but like that would be cool. Just having like different warring. It's just Fallout.
Yeah.
Also, didn't mention this. There are 4 Astro-Zombie movies. I don't know if you knew that.
Wait, what?
Yeah. The dude who made Astro-Zombies came back, like, I think the first one was in 2004. He made number 2. It was called Mark of the Astro-Zombies. Mm. And then Astro-Zombies M3 and M4. And I think M4 came out in 2013.
Damn. I had no idea.
Well, get ready for next... No. I was thinking about it, but I'm like, they're probably worse.
Probably.
Actually, probably not worse, but they're probably bad.
You know, honestly, I think there's a decent chance they'd probably be worse.
I bet 2 is better.
I just think 3 and 4. I just think of like some of the real low quality stuff I've seen from the early 2000s.
Like One Missed Call. But yeah, I think you'd give this... Oh, good. Look, you froze. I have no idea when you froze, so...
Oh,
we're gonna keep
do I look cute?
Yeah, you do. I think you're going to give this movie a 6.
Yeah, I'd probably give it a 6. You would give this one a 7.
No, I'd give it a 6 as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to roll. Hopefully I don't get a bag. No bag. It was a 9, everybody. I didn't show it, but I promise it was a 9.
I can confirm.
Okay, frozen boy. So we are going to be watching 2 movies by Johnny To. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Election and Election 2.
Okay. From
2005 and 2006. I've heard really, really good things about both these movies. I don't know if you recognize that name, but he did a movie called like Drug War. He's done the election movies. He did a movie called Exiled. He's a pretty big like Hong Kong film director.
Okay.
If I remember correctly. But yeah, this was the one that I was gonna pick a couple weeks ago. I think instead we got the bag for the Family Guy episode. I think that was I think that's what was happening.
Oh, great.
But yeah, hopefully this is better than Family Guy.
That shouldn't be hard.
Yep. All right, well, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time for episode 108 of Screen Weens. Woo!